MapReduce is a simple programming model which is designed to compute large volumes of data in parallel fashion, and because it divides the work into set of independent tasks. So what do I mean? MapReduce, whenever we have data, we need to convert data into key and value pair, and we can actually split the input and give it to different data nodes or different machines to process the data. They execute their input and produces output, intermediate output. After map has done, the reducer will come. So these intermediate data or results goes to reducer, and then reducer collects and aggregates the data and produces the final output. MapReduce provides automatic parallelization and distribution. So we don't need to worry about which task will go on which machine. Job tracker automatically divides, and it automatically assigns that task to available task tracker. We don't need to actually worry about. We need to focus on application and logic. Another thing is fault tolerance. So fault tolerance also it provides, because whenever there's some data node goes down, it automatically recovers the data, and you don't need to worry about again. Input output scheduling. The same way, whenever something has been failed or machine goes down, it reschedules the task onto another available task tracker. So it also provides this input output scheduling. Another thing, monitoring and status updates. So that I showed in browser right now, in previous slide. So we can see what are happening in our cluster, what are happening with the task or job. So we can monitor that. So it provides a great framework, and we can design our algorithm into MapReduce style. It's a functional construct. We need to take care about only how the data will be goes into map function and reduce function, how it will be flow in our algorithm, and how it will process so that we can achieve high degree of parallelization, and we can actually process good amount of data in optimal time. So MapReduce, I already explained about this. So in MapReduce we have two functions, map function and reduce function. And map also takes input data in key and value format. So list of data elements are provided to mapper function, which is called a map function, which transfer input data to intermediate output data element. After map, there is a combiner, which is a mini reducer, which combines the key, aggregate the key, then it copies to reducer, and then sort it, and then it reducer will play the role, and reducer will play with the intermediate output and generated the final output. So reducer function receive an iterator of input value from input list, then it combines these values together, then returning a single output value. So I'm going to show this with one example, word count problem. So I'm going to show the code first. So this is a word count class. In this we have map function. This is a map function. Then another thing is we have reducer function. And there is one basic thing which is start MapReduce, this main function here we are making a configuration. So the job conf, we are setting some configuration. We are overriding some configuration. So here we are giving like which format we want for key and which format we want for value, because in output we have key and value. So we are just taking tag which class should be there and which value should be there. So here I am setting text.class. Here I am setting iterable class. Why I am setting this before? Because our problem is word count problem, and in this we have lots of data. We have big file or multiple files of big size. Now we want the word and their occurrences across the all documents, all files. So my final output will be like word tab separated, then frequency of that word across the all document. So here I'm setting the output class. So that's why I set the text, then iterable. Then we have to define which mapper should be used. So it's a map.class. Then combiner is again reducer, reduce.class, and reducer is also reduce.class. I'm going to explain these all. So another thing is input format. We are setting here input format. So which format we are taking input and in which format we are going to output the form, our output. So this is a text input format, and the output format is text output format. So there are various kind of input format like text input format and sequence input format and key value input format. So we can take here it's a text input format is suitable because we want to read a file. So text input format provides key and value. In key, byte set of file will be there, and in value the text will be there. So text will be line, so line will be there. So in text output format it will return, so our key will be text as we define here, text as output key class, and iterable, so it would be the frequency or integer value in text output format. So it would be the key and value will be tab separated in text output format. So there are other format like null output format and sequence output format. So it depends when we need which one. So after that, here again I have set the one more configuration thing. So it from where we need to read the input and from where the output will comes. And finally after that we need to submit the job, this configuration to the job, so that our driver process will run and it will call map and reduce. So this map.class and reduce class, having the map class has map method and reduce class has reduce method. Like this is the reduce class which has reduced method, and here it is a map class which has map method. So in this, just the key and value are there. So in key we are getting byte set, and in value we are getting lines from the file. So in this statement it's just taking the line and it converting into tokens. Then tokens are set here, and with each word we are just collecting the word comma iterable 1. So for each word just we are collecting the word comma 1 kind of tuple, and after that when the map function goes over, so then all keys will be combined with the combiner. So in our case here, combiner is reduced class only. So in reduced class we have reduced method, which actually iterate on the values. Like there are words, so which have which has word comma 1, word comma 1, word comma 1 multiple times. So it combines the value here. So if there are 3 occurrences, it will collect as a word comma 3 or whatever the count will be. So I'm going to show the how it will execute. Okay. So I'm taking a big file. So this is a input sample in my cluster. So this file is actually 700 MB. This folder actually contains 700 MB files. It has multiple files in here. So there are lots of files here. You can see that. So across the all files, we need word count. So I'm going to run now. .run. Okay. So I'm running this, and we can actually monitor from the console, sorry, from browser. So here we have job tracker. So it's showing now running job is this one, which has word count problem. It tells about what job ID is there, and we can actually check on this console. It's running. It shows which user is there, which program is there, what are the status it's running now, and you can see here it shows about map and reduce. So how much percentage of map is completed, and there are 30 map it has launched and 2 reducer. You can see the data information also here. How many records are processed, how many records are going to as a map input, and how are going to combine, how many have been done. So here in graph also you can see that this is map completion graph. So it tells about 0 to 30 maps which it has been launched. It's going process, and here you can see reduce phase. So reduce has actually copy, sort, and then reduce. So copy has been started because some of map has been completed, so its copy has been started. Because we have 2 reducer only, so it's showing only 2 things, 2 bars. If I'm going to refresh it, it is all done, successful. It has taken 1 minute 36 seconds, and it's completed. And you can see that the copy, sort, and reduce actually done. Everything has been done. It also shows the failed or killed task attempts. So here no failed process, here no failed reducer and reduce killed, but there is some killed attempts. So you can see here, and these 2 tasks are killed, but they are rescheduled on another machine, and it has been completed. So that with our all job is not failed, and it has been, because of re-execution, it has been scheduled on another machine, other task trackers. So it has been completed now, and it took 1 minute 36 seconds for 700 MB file, and it can take actually more less than that because we have only 2 machines in our cluster, and these 2 machines are slow machines. So that is why with the configuration wise also it's not so good. So we can, if we have better configuration file, better configuration machine, then it can process these files in within few seconds. Now I am going to show you again slides. So we were talking about MapReduce. So how the data has been flowed. So in this process, there are various map tasks has been launched. Like in the previous browser, we have seen 30 map tasks were there. So there you can see that there are multiple map tasks, and each having the same map function, which I have showed in word count problem, and it's generating key value pair. And after that, it's partitioning. There is a partitioning function in our program. In word count, we actually don't need. We just need a combiner so that aggregate the values according to keys. So same keys will go on the same reducer. And after that, after copying, it sort the keys, and then after that it applies to reducer and generated the output. So yeah, you want to see the output. So what after processing, word count problem will give the results, and you can see that result. So we have created this file. This output has been generated. And we can read it because it's a text file. I'm going to cat it. So it's showing each word with the frequency. There are some chunk characters, so we haven't cleaned up. It's a sample program, so we haven't cleaned up. So you can see all the, for each different token or word, it's showing the occurrences, and these are key separate, text separated. So with the MapReduce app, we can do lots of application are there, and few are I'm showing in the slide. Like you can make inverted index, you can do document clustering, Veblen graph reversal, statistical machine translation, and machine learning, and other data mining process you can easily handle with the MapReduce algorithms, because these all problems has more data, lots of data, and we need intelligent information, and we can process it fast so that we can use it in another applications. So I'm again in one of them, one application I'm going to show you, like inverted index construction. I'm going to show you here. So it's a text indexer. It's just indexing the text. So I'm going to pass input documents. That document contains only a few lines, because for example I'm just taking this few lines, and it will make an index out of them. So there is a map function. Again, in the our mapper class, text index mapper, we have map function, and the reducer class, text index reducer, we have reduced function. And in main function, we have configured few things, like here just I've set the output key value class, which I need in text format, and again value should be also in text format. I'm returning because I'm just providing the inverted index in terms of term as a key and value as a document file name. So we have set the output key class and output value class. After that we have added the input format, input path and output path. After that we have set the mapper class and reducer class, and then we are submitting the job for run. So in map class, it's a long writable key and text is value. So again it is giving the file, and file we are splitting here. As it is the same program as a word count problem, but instead of counting a word, we are just taking the name of the file, and we are with each word we are just throwing the file name. So like here word and the file name. So in file name I'm storing in location. Location is text class object, and in location we are setting the file name, and file name we are processing with the file split object, and file split object is made up of with the help of reporters get input split function, which always tells about the file, metadata about file. So we can get the name of the file from here and then set it. Then we are again tokenizing with each word we are collecting the file name. So after that we once we collect the word comma file name, it will again goes to combiner. So combiner we have not set here combiner, so it will directly go to the reducer. So in reducer, so we are going to do same thing as we are in word count problem. We were summing up all the occurrence coming with the word. So here instead of summing up, we are just appending the file name, different file names. So here just we are appending in this to return, which is a string builder object. We are just appending the values of whatever the file names are coming, whatever the locations are coming, which we are adding here, and this logic is actually just doing making the comma separated file name. So, and after that the final output will give word comma whatever files are there, means all files which contains this word will be the output collected by output collector. So it will create our index. I'm going to show you how you will run here. So first this program is I'm going to compile. So I'm going to run it. So because our input was very small, it ran very fast. I have these files in input. I've given only 3 files in input, which has these things. Very one or two lines. First, document A has Times of India, document B has Economics Times, Nabara Times, and document C has Times Jobs. So now what the output has came now. So it would be, I'm doing the cat here. So our output is like term and the document where it present. So in the economic was present in document B, so it is there. So it's like an inverted index, the term and document, related document. So for times it appears in the 3 places. So it is giving this document A, document B, and document B again. It's a sample program, so we can actually solve. We don't need 2 times. So I'm going to show you one slide. So in actual application, we need a positional index, and the positional index also can be created very easily because I have showed a word count problem and inverted index problem. So we can combine these two, because in this in positional index we need occurrences. Like here you can see there is a term as a key and the value as a pair of document ID, term frequency, and term positions. So here, like Times of India has been split into 2 tokens, Times and India, of a stop word. So we have removed it. So first, this is a Times is a key and value has document ID A, then term frequency 1 because it appears only one time, then term position, it appears only on first position, so it's first only. Same for India. India has a it appeared on document A here, and it has comes again 2 times, so it's the term frequency is 2, and then positions is 2 and 3. It's not keeping count off, so it is skipping that. After that, document B, again same thing. You can see the same as for same for document C also. So multiple maps are running and generating this kind of data, key and value pairs, and these key value pairs are applied to shuffle and sort so that it aggregates the key, like it aggregate, and the same key will go to the same reducer. So times is it can aggregate the times and it can go to the same reducer, and other key can be split into another things. And the final output of the reducer will be the index, which has term and this tuple, document ID, term frequency, and term positions. And it will look like key value. So key will be times and value will be first. So value will be sorted by document ID. So here document ID A is ahead of B. It's sorted A and B. Then it has all value like how many times occurs in A is 1, how many times it occurs in B is 2, and position in A is 1, position in B is 2 and 4. Same way for all. So that it actually, this index actually helps for faster retrieval in index searching application. So this kind of application we can actually use with the MapReduce, and there are other applications as I told. So there are lots of data mining and machine learning applications are there which can be easily do with the MapReduce, and there are lots of things like social media content we can process through we can calculate the recommendation system in social media, like friend recommendation in Facebook. So these all applications and very there are very much in demand nowadays. So we can do it with the MapReduce technology. And MapReduce, at the conclusion, MapReduce is actually provides high degree of parallelism that can be achieved by application. It can provide high degree of fault tolerance, and because it uses with the Hadoop, and these Hadoop thing is actually gives the framework to use MapReduce optimizely. So, and Hadoop is open source, and its major contributor is Yahoo, and there are lots of Hadoop users in our internet space. These are Facebook, Google, IBM, Amazon, Reddit, and Yahoo itself. So, and there are lots of startup and other people which are using nowadays Hadoop, because the Hadoop is a requirement for handling lots of data. It provides a good solution to handle the data, and because it stores data in SDFS, which is Hadoop distributed file system, and actually at core logic is MapReduce, which with MapReduce we can process the data and we can get the intelligent information. And eventually the Hadoop, some people confuse with the, so we can use in place of database. So I'm going to tell you them, we cannot substitute database in place of, in Hadoop cannot be used directly in place of database. And same thing, Hadoop cannot be, Hadoop is not replacement of RAID controller, RAID devices. Like people confuse with that because it provides high available service. So can be used RAID instead of RAID or SAN, storage area network devices, disk, we can use Hadoop. So it's not the thing we can use with that. It's not a replacement of SAN or RAID controller. It just provides the high available service because it maintains the data replication, and it balances the data in cluster. If data node goes down, we cannot recover easily. It cannot recover easily automatically. Then manual intervention will be there, but data will not be lost, and a user or developer cannot be worried about. We don't need to worry about what is happening with our data. So because data will be kept secure. So I'm going to end this session right here.